has on deck. We want to make sure that we give him our full attention. We want to make sure that if we have any questions, we write them down so the brother will be able to answer them. But I'm not going to hold anybody up because I'm excited to bring my brother up because I know that he has a message. I know that he's been downloading information. I know that he's going through a spiritual journey. I know that I've been witnessing this man on his divine path. So with that being said, without any further ado, I want to bring to the stage my brother, your brother, Blue Pillar. Please give him a hand, y'all. Come on now, y'all can do better than that. Blue Pillar, nice to stay. Shout out to the family on the pew. Salute. And then after Blue Pill, we have oh man, I can't even tell you. Prepare to be blown away by a force. That's our sister, America Sutton. She is going to come up in this thing. Yeah, she's going to resurrect. She's going to do some Lazarus work. She's going to resurrect the dead. You know what I'm talking about? So yes, Blue Pillar in the building. Shout out to the Melanin Monday family on the YouTube. We're going to do the roll call before we get out of here. Salute to y'all. Love and light to y'all. All right? So yes, let it go. Yes, indeed, y'all. Peace, love, and light. Give it up for Brother Red. Right? Let's get a brother shout out. I've been here in Atlanta consistently, right? Because since 1996, I've been coming back and forth. I'll spend a week or two, go back to New York or head somewhere else around the country. This is the longest that I have been in Atlanta, for my entire life. This is the longest spell that I have consistently been in this one location and observing the community, with my ear to the ground, just listening to see what can I do, right, to help honor the energy that is Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Hemmett said the etymology of Atlanta is Atlantis. He said the etymology of Atlantis is the quote-unquote black woman, the melanated woman, the Moorish woman, the divine feminine. However you want to spin it or skin it, that's what he was talking about, right? So I've lived long enough to actually see the actualization of that in many different walks and many different lifetimes. So what I'm saying is that in the 90s, when we was out here with the trap boys and the deep boys and everything else that was going on, yeah, the strippers was the ones who ran Atlanta. Right? They were the most powerful force in Atlanta. They had the A&Rs, they had the head of the streets, they know who got the best prices in the city, they know it all, right? So now in this latest iteration, this latest life that we are in, and we have the ability now to see so many burgeoning communities come forth where, some people say the conscious community has turned into the quote-unquote woke community, and I'm not going to go too close to that conversation, but I will acknowledge that, what we are seeing is more of a youthful movement, or more of a youthful situation is being born out of necessity, right? Because the word within itself, like I was saying on Saturday, even the word conscious, right? That within itself denotes something that is masculine, right? Subconscious more so is the feminine, but the goal is to get to super consciousness, the unification of both of those particular energies to understand what it is that we need as a people. How can we utilize the youth force amongst us? How can we utilize the intellect amongst us? How can we utilize the momentum amongst us to move forward into whatever we want or conceive this quote-unquote future to look like, right? Because we was never born into a time when what we call our quote-unquote our ancestors or our elders did not leave some sort of idea or semblance to what they want or what they was fighting for the quote-unquote future to look like. Now that we have access, now that we have movement, now that we have resources, we don't have vision. You understand? We have all of these things. We have been left to our own wanting, right? Because freedom could be debilitating to some people who are not yet ready to be free. You understand? So our people who are fighting for it, who yearn for it, who could taste it, They had a vision. Shit, even if Martin Luther King was talking about a promised land, that was still an ideal and a goal for something that our people were able to attain to, right? What's the goals now? Right? What is it? You want to live in Sugarloaf with the housewives? And then what? Right? Because some people is hitting no ceilings. Some people are just manifesting things in their unconsciousness. They're waking up. How do you like, hey, they're waking up in a Bugatti. And then what? Right? What's the goal? I mean, let's not seriously, let's take a look at this. You got trap rappers who will only fed a diet of saying the bag is gold, right? Get the bag, get the bag, get the bag. They'll go on a session, they'll nod out on pills, they'll take beans and nod out for 2 weeks and wake up. And they song is #1 and they got 1.5 in the goddamn bank. They done woke up in a Bugatti. Then what's the goals? Where do you go from there, right? So we don't have these dreams and these plans that are actually gonna even outlive us, right? We're not dreaming bold in all of these colors. We're taking all of these extra new drugs and we got access to different colors in the color spectrum, but we're not dreaming in a totally new color, right? What does the palette of our dreams look like? What does the vision look like? If you have children, where do you envision your children 20, 30, 40 years from now? What does their position of power look like? You know what I'm saying? Is the goals for you to say, oh, I want to, shit, I'm giving birth to the next Obama or the next Kamala, right? Or the next Idi Amin, or the next, Tucson Overture, or whoever we identify, amongst our greats who are able to break out of the mold and say, look, I want to create reality on my own terms. You know what I'm saying? I have a vision for the future that is no longer going to, the cosign from the European or the colonists is just, we don't need those checks. We don't need those cosigns. We don't need their permission. So today, of all days, it's a day when other people in this country, in this year of all years, 2020, people are actually still celebrating Columbus Day, right? And this starts the perpetual slope of what we call the death march, right? As we move into winter, as we move into our death and our rebirth and our regeneration, and we don't understand our subtle connections to nature and seasons, we are continuously going to fail, right? Shout out to all of the students of astrology, the students of cosmophysics, the people who have taken their time to say, look, I want to study my relationship to these cycles. I want to study my relationship to these seasons. Because if you could see yourself on this wheel, called the cosmic wheel, if you could see the activities that we participate during particular seasons, then you can understand why we perpetually always give up our power and end up in this place where we got to restart. It's almost like you shooting your load, you know what I'm saying? And you in the studio just pulling on or looking for energy to create, and you don't have no more creative juices or energy because you just expelled it. You understand? So the Death March is when indigenous people in this country participate in the adoration and the celebration of Columbus Day, right? Starting there. Because every other day out of the week, these are the same people who are talking about the pains of their oppressor. But then when Columbus Day comes around and we celebrate the grand victory of the oppressor, and we don't understand how this, makes no sense to the universe. We don't understand how our ancestors are looking at us and shaking their head. We don't understand how, other entities from other galaxies is like, they still don't get it, huh? So we participate in this initial acknowledgement. And then we move to Thanksgiving, which is the grand acknowledgement of our initial acknowledgement, right? It's like, oh, you really with the shits now. Okay, so you not only acknowledging your colonizer, right? This person who started this trajectory to all of this tragedy that we're still dealing with and talking about, but then come Thanksgiving and you're like, oh, now I want to participate in the full-scale ritual of the bloodletting that this represents. and give thanks for it, right? And be super thankful for it. When all of our families congregate, and then be like, look, man, I don't get to see Nana any other day out of the year. You know what I'm saying? This is when we get together, other than funerals, right? Because you're getting together to celebrate that. Now, I know this is the opportunity that we get to see our families, but understand, right, not only the act of us participating, but let me explain to you exactly what we're participating in, right? Did you get yeah. So, I like to say that Americanism is the biggest religion in the world, right? All other religions have to subordinate to some level and degree. Once you cross your shores and you come over here with your thing, right? It receives some level of subordination when you come across Americanism, right? The wholesale worship of all things Western. So not only are we participating in our hearts and our minds with something that we should know is wrong, but then they have you participate in gluttony, right? So now you're cued in to engage with them on the lowest levels of your being, right? Now I just came out with an album that's called King's Disease. What is King's Disease? It's lust, envy, hatred, jealousy, all of those lower beings, right? That we have to eliminate to get into our higher self. So Thanksgiving is a gluttonous holiday, right? We have a homeless population that is unlike any other population in the world, right? So we're giving thanks to have food to eat, and we're with family, and we have a roof over our head. But what are we doing? We are cooking up more food than we could possibly eat, and we're stuffing our guts with it, right? So we ain't even gonna talk about the combination of the food and what that creates. The starches and the sugars and the alcohol and all of these things to start fermenting in the gut and creating an internal environment while you're in the midst of flu season for you to even attract more sickness. We're not even going to talk about that. It's the gluttonous aspect of the fact that you're going for third and fourth place and you got more left over tomorrow, but nobody was like, shit, why don't we just make the day after Thanksgiving the day that we go and feed the homeless? To make sure that they get all of these leftovers, right? Because then the next day, you showing the gluttonous practice of going to Black Friday and spending however much money, bread you spending on gifts for people who really, 63 days out of the year, you got some shit to say about them. But you busting your back and your butt to make sure that you're going out to perpetuate another lie that comes right after that. That some fat man came down a goddamn fire escape and got you these gifts. Now your children know better, because they like, well, goddamn it, who was the niggas on Black Friday running to Walmart, running over each other to get goddamn TVs? Oh, now y'all Santa's elves now? You work for Santa, you ain't tell me about that, mama? So now this creates the first level of distrust in your children's mind. Because they like, yo, these niggas is lying to us. And they doing it with a straight face. And they're willing to defend it. Right? They're willing to defend it. So psychologically, your children start losing trust for you because you never really told them the truth about Santa or the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny. And when they grow up to find out the truth of that shit, they're going to start losing trust. And when they start losing trust, they're going to start curbing you. And when they start curbing you, then the streets take over. You understand? So we participate in gluttony, right, for Thanksgiving. We go into Christmas, which is gluttony, because that goddamn child cannot play with all them goddamn toys. It ain't finished mastering them toys from last year, right? You're not salvaging the toys. We don't got no barter system where we trade in the toys. We're bringing the toys to any children with less toys they need to play with. We're not doing anything. We're just stockpiling, right? We're just stockpiling. We're just becoming hoarders, right? So we practice the gluttonous aspect of Christmas, buying things that we can't possibly use. We don't have enough time in a calendar year to run through all of that stuff that gets bought up. You understand? Boom, then New Year's comes. Then we practice the gluttony of alcohol. You can't drink all of that goddamn liquor, right? And not only that, but you're also lying to yourself because you're in the mirror talking about resolutions. The only thing that you can change about yourself is the water. The only way that you can change anything about you is to change the water in you, because that's where the memory's at, right? You can't possibly be real about changing any water if you slugging back alcohol at midnight, because the alcohol is now depleting the water from your system, making you sluggish. You damn sure ain't gonna be able to get up and go to the gym in the morning, right? Because now you have less water, you're dehydrated. You know what I'm saying? Your body's slugging through the water that it does have. There's no memories in that. The body got muscle memory that you've been doing this shit for the last 30 years. Body like, I ain't promise. We're going through another whole year. You making promises that you can't keep, right? Let alone the fact that we don't even internalize or know that we are celebrating one of the highest holidays in our personal cosmic calendar. So we're not being intentional about how we are celebrating or receiving ourselves on December 31st, because we don't know that that's the rising of Sirius. We don't know that Sirius is at its highest point, right? Because they turn all of that around by showing you a ball dropping, not a ball going up on 42nd Street, dealing with time. You understand? Times Square, squaring of time. You understand? So all of these things are things that we are participating in willfully, even though the greatest technology on the planet has found a way to get you involved. We are still involved. We are not cutting the cords to Caesar. We're not cutting the cords to Rome. Yet we're standing up here complaining about what we don't like, what we ain't finna be taking no more. You finna be taking exactly what you've been taking if you don't change something radically about what you've been doing. You understand? So the gluttonous aspect of New Year's, like I said, we're going to this whole cycle and we're over-consuming alcohol. God damn it. All the bullets is not needed for that clown to kill Jesus. Like, who are you shooting at? Right? I'm talking about, I've been out here on New Year's in the West End. I've been out here New Year's in Zone 6. Nigga, they shoot till 7 in the morning. Non-stop. Military grade shit. It's like, who are you trying to kill? Like, for real. Right? So the overlaying off of weapons, the overconsumption of alcohol. And then, by this time, we are in January, what have you, and then we get to Valentine's Day. The overconsumption of chocolates, right? She can't eat all the chocolates, nigga, right? But I did miss one, because we got Columbus, and then we have Halloween, right? Which is the overconsumption of chocolates and candies and things of that nature. So now you create an environment in the child's body where they are super amped up because of all this sugar. You know what I'm saying? The body is spiked, right? They're gonna be super like this, just bouncing. And then they put in the starches in come Thanksgiving. So what do you think that's gonna do to a body that's already overspiked in sugars? You put in starch in the body got too much starch because it goes to sleep because it got itis, it can't break everything down. So now they turn to sugars. So they got sugar on top of sugar. By the time they get to by the time they get to Thanksgiving, by the time they get to Christmas and New Year's, then comes the fermentation with the alcohol and even more sweets, right? And then they're going straight to Valentine's with even more sweets. So you wonder why the flu has never went anywhere, right? You wonder why no matter what sort of vaccines or shots or whatever they come out, they can't get rid of the flu, right? Because we're not looking at our cycles. We're not looking at how we participate during these times when the sun is at its lowest, right? So we are at a disadvantage, which means we have to move extra careful, right? Almost as if tantamount to the European when he came over here and he did not understand the science of seasons, right? He didn't understand how to move with the science of the seasons. So he had to go to the indigenous people to get game. That's what you celebrated on Thanksgiving, right? The fact that the indigenous people were nurturing enough and caring enough to give free game to be like, oh shit, you don't know how to do this? You don't know how to grow corn? You don't know what land provisions are? You don't know about the acorn? You don't know about the this? You don't know about the that? They put them on all the game that they needed. And what was their reward? Oh, we're gonna kill you, reward. Right? Thanks but no thanks, my nigga. We wanna eat you. Right? Like that's what we're dealing with. So if we can step back and look at these cycles and look how we perpetuate the very thing that we are wallowing in as a people that we're complaining about. You understand? What is it going to take in order to break this cycle? Right? You have to do something different. You have to find yourself totally outside of the system where you're like, look, I'm not participating in no folk traditions that powers up this matrix, right? You have to starve this matrix by taking all of the oxygen from it, right? Or you continue to allow this flame to burn and complain about the heat, okay? So one of the main things, that comes into focus, and we just passed this this weekend, a few days ago, I believe it was Saturday, they celebrated World Mental Health Day, right? It was World Mental Health Day. And my timeline had a lot of celebrities and a lot of people from the community acknowledging the presence of mental health in our community. I have been arduously saying every chance that I get, right, that we are all suffering from some form of mental health, right? Some of us more so than others, but all of us are suffering from some form of mental health. The evidence of it, you know what I'm saying? That you live in this country and you haven't picked up a pistol or firearm or anything else that you feel is necessary to free yourself from a system that has you in bondage, right? We have found ways to go along and get along with a particular system that's crushing us. That's sick as fuck, right? You're mentally ill. You think what I'm saying? What are you here for, right? What are you here for? Just to bear witness to your own hell and take those notes back to the Most High? You think that's what he wants to know about himself, right? How to capitulate, how to make excuses, how to go along and get along, how to cut corners, right? No, the Most High want to know what the fight look like, right? What do you have inside of you? What is it gonna take for that shit to wake up? We can talk about we woke, right? But what does the awakened God state look like, right? Because I have a tendency to think that it will look somewhat chaotic, okay? But then there's another aspect of it that can look very much peaceful. The fact that these people are so caught up in what they caught up in right now gives us the opportunity to move in silence, right? You don't have to fire a bullet. You don't got to throw a rock. You don't got to do none of that. You could turn your back, right? And that's more of a powerful demonstration than anything else. Because we could take our time, our focus, our brilliance, and our energy to start building up something outside of this system, right? We could be intentional enough to say, look, I don't want this for my children. There's nothing left that I can explain to them. Shit, it's 2020. They see everything now, right? I mean, I don't be knowing, like, what are y'all children be asking y'all? Because I talk to the babies sometimes, and I get to ask them some questions, and some of them have some very intellectual insight into what it is that they are observing or feeling. Some of them don't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are still absorbing. But I'm like, well, goddamn, like, what do we tell these babies? You know what I'm saying? What excuses are we continuously going to come up to because you're telling yourself an excuse in order to tell it to that baby, right? You want to believe it as much as you want the baby to believe it. But the babies is looking through us. They're like, oh, goddamn it. If this man is so crazy, if you feel the way that you really feel about him, goddamn it, why you seem so comfortable, right? You screaming at the TV. But nobody is doing anything forcefully to remove him. Nobody's really showing how they feel about it. Okay? You throwing things at the TV, that's not gonna cut it. You know what I mean? That's just not gonna cut it. So for some people, they say, oh, our remedy is voting, right? But voting is not necessarily addressing what your fears and your discomforts are. Okay? Because he might be a symbol of white supremacy, but he's not quote unquote white supremacy. So voting him out of office is not dealing with the things that are making you uncomfortable about this society. You're going to have to confront that one day, right? If it makes you so uncomfortable, if you're telling me that this is a barrier to your free movement and your success and your upward mobility, then there's something that you have to develop someday, somehow, to address the very thing that makes you discomforted and is holding you back, right? And Donald Trump is not it, okay? There's something that's more tangible and real that's moving around out here that you can address and deal with. But people are not willing to do that, right? Because now that speaks to the fear. So there's a hidden fear in our people because there's a lack of connection to the earth, to the ground. Now, in my research for chakra systems, right? When they talk about the root chakra is entirely dealing with ground, right? Grounding into the earth and groundation and foundation, meaning family first, right? How was your family upbringing? What's your relationship with your mother like? You know what I'm saying? Was you told certain things as a child that still affect you to this very day? Like children that were told, shit, you talk too much, you need to shut up. Those are children that have issues following their voice to today, right? There's children that had things stuffed in their mouths as, you know, here, eat this food. Those quote unquote grown children today still like things stuffed in their mouths. I'm gonna leave that alone. But the fact that we do not have an attachment to the land, right? The land, as we were indigenous people, our connection to the land was directly connected to our connection to our creator. Because as agriculturists, you cannot work the land and not have a connection to your creator. Because your creator is the thing that you have to have faith in order for that crop to come forward. In order for you to get the rain, it was necessary for that crop to come forward. So you was a very spiritual people. You was people very connected to your creator because you was on your knees more so than other people who are in the cities who don't necessarily, you know, be giving it up to their creator no more because they don't have that connection. You know who their creator is? Who's responsible for paying their checks? Huh? Boss man. We know what the boss man look like, right? So that becomes your creative force. That person who is responsible for putting sustenance on your plate so you can take a piece of it back to paying them. You know what I'm saying? And they can be like, oh, you know, you handling your business when you go to work in the day. But when we was working the land, it was only you and your creator. That was your relationship. You understand? And when we have been removed from our relationship with creator, coincidentally around the same time, the Great Migration for our people took place in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, right? They came out with rubber sole sneakers in the 60s. Rubber sole sneakers have effectively cut us off from the earth because we are not grounding on the planet. If I'm 40 plus years old, cumulatively, I've only spent almost 1 year of my entire life with my feet on the ground. Think about that, right? So the sun comes and it bathes the planet in its energy. It's called electromagnetism. The way that you receive your uploads, because the sun is giving information to you. Real-time information. It takes 8 minutes for it to reach from the sun to the planet, but it's feeding these plants, right? Any of the plant-based family out here, that's why you eat plant-based food, because you're receiving real-time information in the form of electricity. But the electromagnetism that hits the ground is what we absorb through the soles of our feet. Because every biological system in your body is linked up through the soles of your feet, right? You're getting bathed in your crown, right? And you're getting bathed on your feet. So you become the superconductor in the fulcrum point between cosmic energy and cosmic information and downloads, right? So they be like, God damn, you know, when tragedy is coming and the cats know when to leave and the horses and all of that stuff knows when to leave, all of that is based on their relationship to the planet's electromagnetism. All of that is based on their relationship to the sun based on magnetic spheres, right? Magnetic fields and magnetic spheres. So when they cut that off from you, you don't live on Earth. They got this whole conversation about is the Earth flat or round. It shouldn't even matter because you don't even stand on it. You live 2 inches off of the Earth. You live in space, my niggas, right? And then we put a premium in how fancy our disconnection from the space is. Should I pay $400 to be disconnected from the space? I don't know what you niggas talking about, right? We take an entire stock in our sneakers and our shoe industry. You feel me? We're almost we're infatuated with it, right? When I meet millennials, they don't even look you in the eye no more. They look at you feet first, right? Feet up, nigga. Like if you don't got the things on, they don't got no conversation for you. They like, you're not one of us. You an alien. You a Martian. Right? What are those? Right? They have a whole, and granted, these are our babies and our children. They create an entire industry off of sneakers. You know, they can sell sneakers back. And, you know, this is how they can support and sustain themselves. But we are celebrating our disconnection. We are celebrating the things that has us, you know, just out here defenseless. We are celebrating the things that are not an investment into our own personal space or our future. And we take pride in it. You understand? We take pride in it. So these are some things that, you know, some small things that we would say, yo, these are some things that need to change about who we are and how we operate in this plane of existence if we expect to see something different. You understand? Or if you want to see the same thing, then you continue to do the same things. But while you're slowing down and while you're not progressing and while you're not going through the quantum leap and while you're not going through the portals that 2020 represents, right? Technology is not wasting no time. You understand? Machine is learning like this, right? I'm sure everybody sees Social Dilemma, right? So you have an idea about what AI is capable of. You have an idea about what AI is doing. You have an idea about the accelerated pace that these computers are learning on your behalf, your behest, because they're learning you, right? While we learn less and less about ourselves, more about somebody else, because, you know, social media, you can take a peek into somebody else's life and become infatuated with that shit. You an expert in somebody else's entire affair, but you don't know nothing about yourself. So, you know, all of these opportunities to escape and cop out are being presented to us on a golden platter as a people, right? And whether we opt to take that particular offering or not, that's totally on us. Life is participatory. This is all about your participation, your choices. The only thing, in the book, they said what? The only thing that separates you from the angelic forces is your opportunity to make a choice and live with it, right? I had a download from one of the star beings in the cosmos. It said, look, my nigga, y'all lit, right? We don't got it like y'all got it, right? We come under different dictates and mandates and cosmic law. Y'all is the only niggas in this universe who get to freestyle, right? And come up with your own conclusions to things and figure things out on your own, you know, and have choices. You have to live with these choices. Life is nothing but a string of choices and the consequences that come from those. So we just have to be a little bit more serious about being serious. And we have to take advantage of the time and be mindful of time, you know, because we swear time don't exist. They call us the time is falseness, right? But you've been somewhere, right? And you've been chilling and shit, and you know what you did, and you come back a year or two later, and you see the babies, and they ain't babies no more. What the hell is that? That's the evidence of time, right? These babies ain't waiting on nobody. You might be getting younger, these babies getting older. Or they're growing, should I say. So that is evidence that time is continuously spinning. Things are continuously taking place. You feel me? So I know, just based on what I'm observing and what I'm listening to, that these people said, look, you know, on November 4th, no matter what happened on November 3rd, we're going to turn up in this country, right? Because we're not going to be satisfied with the outcome. Nor will they have the outcome on November 4th. You understand? So a lot of people, if you are invested into this political theater, you know what I'm saying? I would say take your emotions out of it, because you're about to go on a roller coaster unlike anything that you've ever seen before in your life. But don't allow that to take you and swallow you and consume you, right? You have to be grounded in something else, which is called a plan B. You're gonna have a contingency plan, some way, somehow, to figure things out on your own. Because even if Trump wins, or even if Biden wins, right? He's not gonna assume control until January. So you gotta still live through a maniacal, right? Clinically off Trump presidency. They have now the funk is in the toilet, right? You still gotta go through that from November to January in the depth of the winter of 2020, the fourth quarter tail end of what we just experienced in 2019. Now, I was telling people from January, I said, look, I said, Trump is the super spreader. I said, COVID-19 comes from him and his mentality. Because if you understand the metaphysics, right? When we talk about metaphysics, if you understand the metaphysics of 1600 Pennsylvania Street, right? And the fact that it sits within a 10 by 10 square foot edifice called the District of Columbia, which was masonically constructed, and the cornerstone was laid by Benjamin Banneker Bay to align it perfectly with the Sirius constellation. This entire country has been built in homage to your ancestors, right? This entire country has been built in homage to your ancestors. And the Masons say what? This is the great design for the great experiment, right? Put the melanated people who are the ancestors of these Kemetic and Dogon scientists in this country, and let's see what we come up with, right? Make sure that they're here during a propitious time, so when this cosmic energy hits, we can see how they respond to it, right? So this person is sitting in 1600. 16 is 4 by 4 is what? 4 times 4 is, so it's a box, right? He's sitting in a square box in an oval office with a Washington Monument in front of him, which is a 555-foot palace, white palace, right? That acts as an antenna to the cosmos. He just was going through impeachment before COVID hit. What do you think impeachment does to the mind of somebody who already is psychotic, right? So now he's back against the wall. The country is attacking him, trying to kick him out of his house, right? So all of a sudden COVID happened. If you look at it, it attacked all his enemies, right? Iran, China, Turkey, right? Everybody who he had beef with and who he had spoke with started getting washed up. You understand? So I'm looking at this energy and I'm following through the metaphysical numerics of the number 44, right? And me, knowing what I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, this is about to hit. It's about to go baby or baby. Because I'm like, look, everybody that's around him is catching it and he's not. What does that mean? It means it's coming from him. Now that might be too much of a pill to swallow for some people. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we bought into whatever the script is and what have you. And we hate giving this person this quote unquote, this power, right? But this nigga's Teflon. Look what he been through, right? Y'all lived through an Obama presidency. Obama couldn't get past, he couldn't do 1%, 1 iota of what Trump is pulling off, right? That's the audacity of whiteness. You dig what I'm saying? That this person is totally presidential and they can't do nothing with him. Then Obama had done one of the things. And the same militias who you seen going up in Michigan about to snatch that senator up or that governor, okay? David carried Barrio out of that office. The same way that when he was president, they had people jumping over the fence, running down into the White House. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember how many people was infringing upon that particular perimeter, attempting to run up in the White House and do something with them? Do you think that that's not a dog whistle to Obama to say, oh, my family's in danger. I need to slow down and follow what's being told to me? Because it's not just me that they might touch, they might touch my babies. You understand? So this person is in the White House with this psychosis and this psychology, and then he do bad with the debate. And he knows, shit, I don't got no more cards to play on my deck. Right? Now he got COVID all of a sudden. He had COVID all along. You understand? So just think about the psychology, this deteriorating, this breaking down, this totally maniacal, that just don't got nothing, they ain't got no backboard to bounce off of at this particular point. Now that person loses an election, knows that there's a criminal prosecution coming right behind that, right? Because his Teflon status is wearing off. What you think he's gonna do? Right? You think he's gonna be quiet? You think he's gonna go out peacefully? You understand? So regardless of what ends up happening or what they're going to do, what you need to know is what is you gonna do? Because in the midst of all of that, if this country falls into civil war, how's that gonna personally affect you? How's that gonna affect how you move and plan and plan and strategize? Do you have rations of food set aside? Do you know how to get low? Can you stay low for a year? Right? We just came from the home of a prepper, right? Somebody in our community that's melanated that has been preparing for 2 years. So I just got the opportunity to look and see what a year's worth of food looked like. It's only $1,000 plus investment that he made, right? To make sure that he has food secured for a year plus, dry food and canned goods, generators, flashlights, tents, artillery, ammo, right? These are necessities, and these are conversations that nobody in our community seems to be having, right? Then we put a coalition together for some brothers who said that they were serious about doing some things with some land. 40 acres, right? Everybody shows up to the first meeting. Money's supposed to be collected. Only half of the people show up for the second meeting. I mean, this is the continuous shit with our people, right? Where we continuously play with our freedom. We continuously play with the things that we say that we want the most, and that we willing to bleed for and die for. And my ancestors died for all that stupid shit, right? But you have the opportunity right now to correct all of the errors of the past, right? All of the errors of the past can be corrected right now. Quantum physics say, look, if you get this shit right now, you can correct the errors of the past and you can secure your future, right? We live in a quantum realm. We are in a quantum year. This is 2020. It's not either or, it's both. It's quantum. It's not zeros or ones. It's 0011. It's quantum. We're not taking advantage of the time that we're in. We're not grasping the things that are taking place. We're not jumping through these portals. We're looking at Lovecraft. And we're like, oh, they jumping through portals, right? What about us? When are we gonna jump through some portals, right? When are we gonna run circles and rings around this European? He got his head in the sand right now. Everybody's taking advantage of him. He don't know which way it's gonna come from. He's like this. Oh my God, what the? And he's scared to death. But he ain't telling you that. He got his game face on, right? You see the debate, that's the best goddamn game face that they can show you. Joe Biden and Donald Trump, that's their game face right now. Right? And you still stuck? You still unable to move? You moving against 70-year-olds, you still can't move, huh? I'm just saying. Like, these are not the opportunities that our ancestors would have squandered. Right? Everything else about what's taking place is what they told us. Our response to that shit is not. Right? they couldn't have foreseen, not that they couldn't have foreseen America in this condition, they could not have foreseen their people responding in the lackluster way that they have responded. Niggas got PPP checks and all of that. Where's the land at? Right? Where's the land at? Right? Because that's what our ancestors would have done. They was knocking over bricks and everything else. They was doing whatever was necessary and needed for them to get resources, okay, so they can secure their future. Not propagate poison, not push dope in the community. You know what I'm saying? Not do none of those things. Make sure that our babies do not have to experience the trauma that we did. So they don't have to go through 30, 40, 50 years of attempting to try to erase that trauma. They can get right to it. And they can be on pace with all of these other children in the world who don't have to celebrate or deal with the things that we deal with. You understand? And that is our opportunity. That is our job here on this planet, right? We're supposed to leave something behind to the next generation that tactically makes it a little bit easier. Now, stack on all of these issues and all of these problems and just be people that just take up all of this space and don't have no answers. You feel me? But at the end of the day, you're going to look at these babies and tell them what? Right? We complain as a people about how much education wasn't doing for us and how long it took us to unlearn and relearn and all of the badges of bad this and bad that. But then COVID happens and it gives us the opportunity to teach our children. Right? Who's teaching the babies? Who's teaching the babies? Right? The babies is the afterthought. Let's just be real about it. That shit is just something that we do. Right? We've been that removed from the reality of our situation. The babies is not prioritized because nobody's talking to the babies. Right? Ain't nobody talking to the babies to find out, shit, well, how do you feel? You know what I mean? Like, well, what does COVID mean to you? What does quarantine mean to you? You can't go to school no more and see your friends. Like, what is this doing to the psychology of these children? Right? Now, I'm not mad at the fact that they're saying, okay, they haven't mastered the virtual learning, so they're saying, oh shit, the children ain't learning anymore. Okay. Well, the children are not being subject to these lies. Children are not being subject to the programming, right? But something has to come in to replace that. To be like, well, let me teach these children to trade, right? Because when it wasn't happening, there was a million niggas talking about, oh, this ain't the right way to teach children. They learn in nature. They learn by being, okay, where's all that at? Right? What are we waiting on? The babies is home. You can't load them up and take them into nature? Right? Or you can't put together a virtual course, a module, where you're teaching them in a way, because they're like, yo, you can teach them complex mathematics, why? And all that shit. So I'm just saying, where is it at? Because we had a whole season to prepare for this coming fall, which we're in now, and the babies is back learning nothing. Or learning things that they're going to have to be healed from in 10 or 15 years. Right? So the universe is looking at us, saying, you wasn't ready, my niggas. You asked for it, but you wasn't ready for it. We threw it out of you, right? It's a long-ass season like the NBA. But ain't no goddamn championships going out this year. You feel me? We're going to have to extend it into next year to see what's really cracking. I'm just saying. They dog whistling, they saying shit, the vaccine might be ready in October. Do we have a contingency plan? We know it's not going to be ready, but were we ready? Were we ready to be like, oh, I ain't doing that. I'm finna, once again, take these children and go up into these mountains, and I got a year's supply of food and ammo, and can't nobody tell me nothing. We wasn't ready. We still sitting ducks. We are waiting for the wheels to turn, whichever they may turn. We're going to go whatever way they tell us to. Let's just be real about it. Because a lot of people is wasting other people's times. So it's like, look, if you're not about that life, you know what I'm saying? Just find you something to do within the matrix that, you know, on some cipher shit. Find you a steak, right? To your liking. Maybe you don't like medium rare or shit like that. Find out what your steak is Get your statement, nigga, and get up out of the way. That's it. Because other people, you know, who do have these visions and do have ideas about what a perceivable future can look like for us and our families and our babies and potentially our people, the time is now. It's no time like now. Because all you literally got to do is make your mind up, right? No harming of animals, no harming of Europeans take place in this process. You just have to turn your back on them and say, look, I'm going over here to do this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm minding my business. And y'all can have all of that shit over there that you want. I'm going to just be over here doing this. You shouldn't even have to come and look for me because this ain't none of your business. I done gave you back your paperwork. I done gave you back your adhesion contracts. I gave you back this. I gave you back everything that's yours. You understand? Man, you don't have no business. I shouldn't see you up here, right? I'm gonna put you on a stove. Right? This is private property. You shouldn't be up here. We don't have no business. But as long as we continue to have business with these people who are already bankrupt, not only financially, but morally bankrupt, and we expect some sort of reward to come from that, we're playing games. You know what I'm saying? And we're missing the opportunity of a lifetime. I don't know how much time I got left. 10 minutes. I'm going to tell y'all a real quick story. Because this is just speaking about the presence of the energy can always be there. It's on you to tap in, right? It's the same way that I'm saying the electromagnetism that comes from the sun is on the floor, but we got on rubber soles and shoes and we don't spend no time grounding on earth. So it ain't like the energy ain't there. The energy's always there. We just not tapped in. So last year, winter solstice, I had got a download. I was coming from New York to Atlanta on a 16-hour China bus. And the sun woke me up on the solstice around 8 in the morning. It was just heavy on my face. And I'm like, this shit feel like it's in July. And I'm waking up like, why is the sun so bright? Why is it so strong? And if you would believe this, the sun said to me, right? It said, well, hey, you know, this is the period of time when the sun is closest to the earth, not furthest. You understand? And it also said, look, I woke you up because I want you to tell my story, right? I want you to tell my story. I don't want you to beat up on Christians today and tell them about Christmas as opposed to the winter solstice. It's like, no. It's like remind them conscious niggas because they spend all day on Christmas telling Christians what not to do. What the hell do they do on the solstice though? How do they pay homage to show up for the sun? Do you have one day set aside where you acknowledge the power of the sun, what the sun does for the planet, the relationship with melanated people, with the solar body, right? Because we love talking about how carbonated and melanated and our melanin is popping and magic and all of this shit. But what do we know about the sun? What do we know about the relationship to the sun? Do we even look up? Are we aware of it? Right? And the sun was like, I'm about to go through some cycles, you understand, that are going to define who I am. And I need the people to pay attention. So it started using me as a fulcrum for that. Now I had just I did a whole album and movie in October last year, which would be a year from now. And it was called Christ Consciousness. Now I'm not a Christian, right? But as a student of metaphysics, I understood the spiritual imports of what they were speaking about when they were talking about Christ consciousness and the rising of Kundalini energy, right? Up the spine, the vertebrae, until we get to the ground, right? So I started calling my dialogue about the sun, Corona rising, right? The fact that the sun is within, that spark, you have to raise it up these particular levels until you get to your crown, until you get to your coronation, your enlightenment. And the sun was like, yes, 2020 is going to be the return of the king, right? Or the second coming of the sun. Okay? And I'm like, well, how do I flesh this narrative out? And it just started gradually giving me downloads, right? And I've been having this conversation since last year, December, where I was preparing my audience for a summer. They was going to see a heightened activity with the solar entity that we call the sun. And also I said that this is going to be a year that's going to be typecast with the king energy, all about kings, crowning of kings, or the crowning or the coronation. And also, during the period of last year, we were going through what's called a Jubilee year. For melanated people in particular, on August 20th of 2019, we came to the point where they said we technically was in this country for 400 years of slavery, right? They call that Project 1619, according to the New York Times, right? But your Nana and them in the Bible, goddammit, they call that the curse of Ham, right? They call that the curse of Ham. And whether that's real or not, if our people have spent so much time, so much energy in that book, goddammit, who are they? What position do they have in the book? How do they draw power from that book, right? Or they're just observers, they're just blind observers of the book. They don't know who they are, they don't have no position in that book, right? So, during the period of August 20th of last year up into this year, it's called a Jubilee period. Okay? After the 400 years, same way that if quote unquote slaves were on a plantation and the plantation all of a sudden gave them the freedom on some Juneteenth shit, right? They would have a period of a year redress where they can pay debts, right? Make atonements, and then they will party and celebrate, right? So during the Jubilee period, we saw just that, a heightened period of partying and celebration, even during coronavirus, right? Your guy, Tory Lanez, was turned up. Y'all remember? All of a sudden, coincidentally. Now, his name is Daystar, and he's a Leo. Okay? That story, as much as we might look at it and think that it's social media banter, no, it is the cosmic story and narrative of us and who we are. Because Meg Thee Stallion is an Aquarius, right? Where did she get shot at? What sign governs the foot? Come on. Pisces, right? And what are we moving into? The age of what? Aquarius. What is Aquarius? But they say it is androgynous, right? So what do they say about Meg Thee Stallion? Said a stallion is a man, right? So she represents the archetype. What she came bearing? Is it not a water bearer? Does she not make a song called what? I mean, come on, y'all. Right? Tory Lanez's name is Daystar. His father's name is Sunstar. He's a Leo. Leo is synonymous with the king. It's the sun. Right? He's not the only king that you saw on the cross this year. Professor Griffin's a Leo. Right? They put him on the cross. They stripped him of his name in public. Nobody said nothing about that. Right? So it's the subtle things that we don't even understand what we're looking at. Because we don't even understand who we are. We're looking in all the wrong directions and all the wrong places for this information. And it's right in front of you. It's right in front of you. It's right there. Even with the whole entanglement story with Jada Pinkett and August Estina, that was the universe showing you two Virgos, right? Because this entire narrative is about the woman right now. You cannot be a king, which is Leo, right? Without balancing Cancer, which is the mother, and Virgo, which is the woman. You cannot rule without acknowledging the throne, Virgo. So that whole entanglement episode, right? And dealing with who was the third wheel in that whole narrative? Will Smith, who's a Libra, okay? He's the one that was supposed to bring some level of balance to it. You understand? And it's nonstop. That every time that we came into a season this year, there was a physical manifestation of this narrative that played out right in front of us, utilizing quote unquote stars on earth to play out cosmic narratives, right? But we were so entangled in the tea of it, and we're missing the lessons continuously. You understand? So at some point, we have to take ourselves serious enough that we take ourselves serious. You understand? And taking yourself serious knows what? I didn't come to this planet to play games. I'm not here to entertain shit. You dig what I'm saying? If I'm bearing witness to something, if I'm involved with something, if something is around me that is garnering my attention, it has to be meaningful. It has to be a reason that these things are taking place and that they're coming up in our particular quote-unquote consciousness. Because we're not here to just waste time. All right? So with that, I want to conclude what it is that I have to bring to you and what I have to offer, but I do want to open up the floor to any questions or comments, all right, from anybody in the audience. Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Yes, sir. Can you? Yes. How do I? Yeah, each sign governs, each sign and each planet, for that matter, governs a particular body part. That's not something that I created. That's, the research and the study. So Aries is the head, right? So on and so forth. You can start there. I mean, you can just Google that. Like zodiac correlation to body parts, connection to body parts. Okay? Huh? Indeed, thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Nobody? Okay. With that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your energy. Please let me like y'all. Nah. You have to do better than that. Come on now. Give it up for Brother BluePill. Okay, so this is what we finna do. We are going to take a 10 to 15 minute break. By show of hands, how many people got y'all something to eat already? Awesome. For those that got something to eat, I'm gonna need you to get something else to eat. For those that did not get something to eat, I'm gonna need you to go and get something to eat right now. There are 3 rolls that they have. They got juices. There's some pre-wrapped punani rolls. You know what I'm talking about? And there's some fresh rolls that the brothers have behind the counter. You can get you a fresh meal. Support the bar. Support the food. Support the vendors. I have my new Garvey collection up there. These are some embroidery hoodies. Our brother from Drip. Athletics, he got you some drip. It's hoodie season, so you gotta get warmed up. We got some jewelry over there. Just raise your hand, sis. She got some drip over there. Yeah, check her out. She has sage, she got drip, she got a whole bunch of stuff. Support the entrepreneurs amongst us. We will return in 15 minutes with our sister America to blow this thing away. Love and light to the family. Thank you. Peace. 15 minutes, y'all. All right? Hey. Turn that music.
A lot has really activated, and we had a lot has really activated, and we had to get that ass in the gear, get in shape, and like toughen up, and build some resilience and strength, and get to it, and step into our roles. It's a renaissance, and so the music is just a piece of work to guide you, to guide us into that next level of our ascension. It feels good, it sounds good, you want to sing it every day, you feel me? And so I'm working on some new shit. And I'm excited. So that's dropping, sometimes, during Leo season, we don't see this stuff. I live in a paper route, call me Mr. Postman. I just got a couple pounds from my favorite man. I broke down the list of ounces, on it with my whole family. In home, bank accounts, and flexing for the brand. I had to get in my own before I could get in my bag. I had some personal feelings to do, and I think that was holding me back. I couldn't even believe it. I even reached out to Jesus, even accomplished achievements in spite of my demons, in spite of their faces. I don't agree with their business, that shit is refusing, no matter the reason. People that agree because they preachers like me, who've been screaming like preachers for seasons. I just believe that the ancestors are living through our vision, intention, commitment to ascension. It's the period that you listen on my channel. These prescriptions from dimensions you can't visit because you're truly dedicated to the mission and this kingdom. It's our legacy. How you showing up? Come break bread with me. The seed is growing up. You want justice? Who got guns out? If they bust it, who gon' run out? Who gon' thunder? Who gon' love us? Who gon' fight for us? I said fuck them other systems, cause I'm down for my victims. I ride for my brothers, I ride for my sisters. I say fuck them other systems. This is a new world order, I just hope that you know. This time of year, I'm always looking for the best way to keep my family healthy. That's why I choose Samacol. I take a deep breath into the vortex of my greatness. Yes, I'm futuristic, but a fusion of what's ancient. My intention is ascension as I travel this dimension. Refuse to be diminished by societal conditions. An empress on a mission with the picnic that's you different. I kick you with some business training, powerful traditions with positive intentions. Commitments to excellence. Ask me how I do it. I say, come get these lessons. Come get these blessings. Come get these blessings. Get creative with your business. Don't wait, get that trademark popping. Keep a crispy vision. Don't let nothing stop you. Weekly basis mastermind session with the tribe. Prosperous intentions so that all of us may thrive. I drink the ratio chocolate tonic when I'm looking for alignment. A couple drops of maca and my spirit feels lighter. You want to go a little deeper? Follow my flow. Let yourself surrender. It's okay to let go. Take a deep beat. Think of me when you meet quality. My energy cost a fee. I get paid to be me. Make a choice to be free and tell a new story. Let's go deeper than surface. Let's eliminate worry. Together we flourish. Together we flourish. Right now I'm pretty focused on my company. Locking in the PMs and LLCs. With the ATM for a couple of C's. Then I hit the spot, caught up on some Z's. Out my mouth, I stick the gems that will manifest to M's. The way they hit your spirit, you'd have thought it was a him. I choose him, and him. In the Caribbean, somewhere between St. Lucia and Puerto Rico, moonbathing on chilling with the shorts. You'd have thought it was a scene from Finding Nemo. Freaking Baker's blueberry too. Drop the top, selling the ocean blue with the sun kissed you. Think about my first million, I knew exactly what to do. Obstacles appear to show me how resilient. I'm blessed, I'm breathing, I'm brilliant. I'm blessed, I'm breathing, I'm brilliant. I'm blessed, I'm breathing, I'm brilliant. I'm shining, I'm supported, I'm strong, I'm resilient. I'm shining, I'm supported, I'm strong, I'm resilient. Welcome, goddesses, healers, medicine, mothers. This is the G-Code. I am all that I used to be. I invite you all to relate with me. Astral projecting frequency. Let's find it out, smoke the sleep for me. Keep it in check. I am all that I used to be. invite you all to take a leap. Astral projecting through frequency. Let's vibe it out, smoke the seat. Keep it in check. I really wanna hit up on stress. With my friends, we were manifesting fun things. All I dream was of the green rings and brain. Getting green, surround myself with ultra light beams. That's the team. Descendants of the kingdom of Kush. Down in Venice smoking blackberry kush. I do what I want, I do it for fun, I do it for us, I do it with love, celebrating life on a daily. The more I do that, the more they pay me. Elevation every day, I'm committed. First I see it, then I go out and get it. If you wanna feel love, you gotta get it. Don't have to let it knock you off the bed. Keep your vibes high, don't you get it? It's a journey, so your work is never finished. If you wanna see it happen, write it down. That's love. I usually like to cop it by the pound. For my dogs, keep it coming both towards the one. For the heart, be confident wearing a crown. You are art, mama. Compassion, forgiveness, live with more intention. Speak life, give thanks, stay dedicated to ascension. I am all that I teach. I invite you all to take a leap. Astral projectors. Let's vibe it out, smoke the seat. Keep it in check.
Let's let them see the band in here lit. Let me show y'all, family. We got the beautiful Kim Strings to play the violin with the band. Peace, family. Y'all enjoy. They about to jam us. Then we got America coming on. Woo, it's a whole vibe. Some family.
Y'all, Kim Green right here. Y'all give a round of applause for her. Please follow her on social media. Follow her on your
Kim Strings.
Kim Strings.
My name is Kim Strings. You can follow me online on Instagram at Kim Strings Music. You can also go onto your telephone or your cell phone and text 72727 to Strings. And then you'll get notifications like these performances we just had here. And you'll know when I have future performances. Again, that's Strings to 72727. So go on your cell phones right now, pull up your text message. In the numbers box, you put 72727.
That is fire, girl.
Yes. And in the messaging, you put Strings and you hit send. And if you got that little box that comes up that says you get notifications for that 25 cents, just hit send.
Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
I love her. She's amazing, y'all. Follow her, please. Don't go too far because you know we got the queen in the building, Miss America. This queen, oh my God, every time she comes in the room, she brings a whole vibe. This is her bag, by the way. Can I get a round of applause for the bag? So basically, that's a whole vibe. Our sisters about to come up here and really take it to another level, you know? My ancestors are calling me this. Hey, can we get a round of applause for America, please?
Yeah. Nice.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
How y'all feeling?
Better.
Y'all ain't following me. You can follow me on IG at America Excuse me,
Sorry, baby.
AmericaSutton Music.
Say that again, sis. That was
You can follow me, America Sutton Music, on IG. Y'all hear me down there? Okay. Shout out to Red Pill, Blue Pill.
It's called Explorer, right? Yeah.
Give thanks.
Yes.
While we setting up, if y'all can just come a little bit closer,
Yes.
please. We here to celebrate life every single day. We say Ashe. I was in the mountains with this beautiful little girl and my other tribe, but
This beautiful little girl.
this little girl, her name is Bella. And I think her alias is Pink Pill. She comes from Red Pill. We were up in the mountains and it was raining. And
Come here.
she started singing. I was playing the drums and sing. And we started singing This Little Light of Mine. I'm gonna let it shine. And I asked her before if she would perform me, but she had got her hand done, so she was like, my hand ain't dry yet. So I was like, well, maybe this time you can sing This Little Light of Mine. We gonna let it shine. So when she sung it, the sun came out. Ashe?
Ashe.
We can manifest anything that we want to do in life. Anything, right? Because she made the sun come out, right?
Yes.
Where were you when the sun came out?
Yes.
Hey, hold on, put the music 1 second. Y'all got to get this. Y'all got to really understand that words is powerful. Words, all you got to do is speak it, believe it to existence, and manifest it because we all have power. And I want to share with you, Bella. It was raining, right?
Where were
You at the mountain.
Crazy.
Okay, and the rain, we was playing drum, and then when you sing this little light of mine, what happened?
The sun came out.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna take it back to the mountains if y'all don't mind. We just gonna do some little djembe drum, and I'm gonna have the wonderful Grammy Award winning songwriting Miss Bella sing with me. So back in Africa, these drums are called the djembe drum, right? And it's call and response. So when I say, like if I say Ashe, y'all say, I say Ashe. Y'all sound dry. Anything is a word. Come on. You get what you put out, right?
Drink water.
Ready, Bella? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine. This little light, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Sing it, brother. Hey, y'all give it up a Hey. Come on, let me do better than that. Right here. Hey. All right. So we got the children's section out the way. And my name is America. My only mission is to leave you better than I found you. So I was made out of love. My parents been married for years. And I've been married right into the second belly. I'm here. And you know, I just want to put love back in the atmosphere. That's it. Right? We gotta love right now. Stop taking each other for granted. Stop. Whatever you feed is going to grow. We can manifest our thoughts into greatness or weakness. Ashe? Alright, so y'all got the track ready?
Yeah.
The Bluetooth is what's the Bluetooth secret? Can somebody help us with the Bluetooth? Y'all give it up for Dre on the side. Y'all want me to stay and play the drums with it?
Yeah.
Alright. We gonna stay right here.
Yeah. Nice.
We ain't got the Bluetooth, so let's just go. Let's just go. Ladies, if you feel like getting up and being sensual, I encourage you. You wanna, you know, get loose, I encourage you. Fellas, I encourage you to go grab somebody, dance with them, I encourage you. I encourage you. All right, you can't find it, so we just gonna go with the flow. Is that cool with y'all? Sounds of love. Okay. All right, start with intoxicated. All right, I wrote this song because I lost, you know, my love at the time to a white girl. I know, I share her. I mean, I'm still, you know, I'm healed, and it hurt. I need my soul, my mind, my body, everything. And the white girl name is Cocaine. Can't compete with her, so you got to deal with that. We're gonna pray for him, you know, because I still love him. I pray for him wherever he is, and he conquered that demon. But this song is called Intoxicated. Here we go. Yeah, we can start about this again. Two types of people. One is want something like that, and one will give you life. You gotta make something great. I'm here, but people who love me, if you can't appreciate my presence, be gone. Reject me and such. Shit. Talk to anybody. Make some noise. Make some noise up in here. Alright. So he went into pain, right? I love her. I don't know why. I thought love was supposed to be easy breezy, but the true love to exist so fast to die. And a lot of us is just so just full. Like, you know what? I can't be true to myself, so I'm gonna just fake it. I'm gonna just trauma bond with you for the moment. We gotta be careful with our moments, right? We gotta be careful. I mean, we all are just a memory passing through this, so let's just be very, very delicate with our words. When we speak, we can speak life and death out of our mouth. The tongue is sharper than a two-edged sword. I shake. So that's all I feel like. So back on his love tip, sounds of love, he gave the key, I think, or talking to a girl. So Jason, you know what I mean? Oh, you getting a kid? Ah, ooh. How many of y'all got a king in here? Make some noise. How many of y'all got a queen in here? Make some noise. I got some candidates, but I'm single. Anybody? Sing that with me. I'm here for love. Sounds of love. Like I said, all we wish is we be better than found. So I'm keep loving the atmosphere. Ladies, that's what my kicks are right now. Yeah. I say, kings, be patient. I swear, we talk a lot, but we find out. It's love. Y'all know when we stop playing noises, it's sound of love. Or for the song about love. Y'all close your eyes and take a ride with me. I'm looking at you, look at me. I'm feeling so sexy. I got the bubble guy, I got the candle stick, I got the strawberry chocolate. Don't worry for my mind, 'cause everything's fine. So it's really me and you. Don't know what to do. Baby, don't anticipate. I won't participate. I know you want it. I can see it in your eyes. Baby, just take your time. We got all night. Take it easy. Right now. I ain't wanna manipulation. I can't wait for you to come home. Don't get along, making love to the break down. I know what you want, wanna do it slow. We gon' raise our stars, you already know. Open up, baby, be free. Just not take your mind to zero. We make me remember. If there's so good, I don't need it. Oh, I'm gonna make you over and over again. We ain't just winning. That's so good. Let's take it from the beginning. I wanna love. I need love. I need love. I need love. You need love. And I need love. So let's make love. Right now. If anybody out there, I make love. And I make love. Sounds of making love. You don't wanna give it up. Ladies, oh yeah. Oh, y'all scared? He said, y'all scared? Y'all scared to make up right now? Come on, get it. I said, match ready right now.
get freaky in the bedroom. We gon' get freaky in the bedroom. Yeah. There are ladies together. There are guys. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, I promise you, once I touch you, you ain't never gonna forget. Don't stop me, you talk about. Bring me along. But right now, while we're here, all love, all each other. You don't need to see me when I read. I'm gonna let y'all know we vibrating super high. Y'all feel that thing I said? All right, look. Red pill, say one more. One more. Feed the people. All right, so look. I want red pill on this song. I want blue pill on this song. I'm calling Lizzie on this song. I need all of the creators right here on this song. And if you're in the audience, I want you to start throwing out some adjectives because we're going to create right here in this space. Ashe, we all take a part of this song. Kings and queens, come on, give me some ideas. Let's go. What y'all feeling right now? How y'all feeling? Powerful. I heard power 2 times. Unstoppable. Incredible. Give me more. Come on. Divine. Blessed. Love. Majestic.
13 love to be exact.
Yeah. So we're gonna grab this mic like every 16 bars. Where Lizzie at? Hey, come on, sis, come on now. I need all that creators right here. Grab this mic. We're gonna rotate this mic. Don't play with me. Alright, so my maestro. What key? It don't matter. Might want to pull out your phone. You know, get this on Netflix. It's a whole vibe. Big God energy. Big God energy. I need y'all to grab this mic with authority. Yeah, sorry, we got all the cycles lined up. We got all the MCs lined up. All right. And if y'all feel like I bless you, you can bless me. Hit my cash app. That's my America's Southern dollar sign. You have to say here, I can. And she keeps it on dollar sign. Cash app. Yeah. So I can pay them. What's them up? Yeah. Somebody said powerful. Oh yeah, 640. Welcome to a condo. I feel powerful. I feel strong. I feel mighty all day long. Look at the MELANIN. Every day I'm winning. Smiling. It's so right. You gotta get 640 every go. Let's feel. Tell the people how I'm feeling. Color red pill. You don't like it, tell them how you feel.
I'm feeling like Richard McButton. I'm chilling with America's Sunday. Yeah, the KTL. It's none other than KTL. Red pill in the building. Red pills for the children. If you talk to the big pill, he's up here. He's in the pill. My brother name is BluePillar. BluePillar like writer. Yeah, I'm a writer. Yeah, I'm a writer. I'm up here doing for the people. Oh yeah, I'm flying the people. And my resident is evil. And my president is evil. And he's evil. But we flying high. It's on the mountaintop. Sipping from the mountaintop. Every kick is white. I wait the man. Let me give it up. Let me stand on that dollar man. You a killer. Come and kill the fight. Come and do it right. You and all white. Keep on us tonight. We're like balls. We're in the ball. I'll take away that ball. Yeah. I'll take away that ball. Yeah. I'll let that shit go. I ain't worried about it if I cry. I ain't never gonna ask why. I ain't always going through the season. Great, I'm doing sweet. Everything that we do is cool. Now I'm asking what we down to do. And I'm thankful for this time. Really grateful. There's a mind. There's a mind. Puerto Rico, make it right. It's a vibe.
In song. We never spoke in broken words, but we spoke in melodies. And now I see her on the stage with me, and everything is happening the next day. I met Red Bill. And the next day we recorded the song. I met her last night, and the next day we gonna do it again. We was in the hallway. I said, hello, can you tell the people, can you tell the king, the queen, that you really can sing for me? I said, hello, queen. This is Friday night, and I'm so glad you sharing the night with me. Let's say, glory, I think I breathe.
Yes. Yeah.
There ain't another one.
Listen, look, y'all mind? Because this guy didn't get to the mic so right. I told y'all.
Go ahead. We got her songbird. Let's
We
go.
got songbirds flying all up through here.
Hey.
Make some ancestral noise up in the boat. I said make some noise, y'all. Alright, we're gonna close out with that. Right? Oh, we got 40 seconds. Keep going.
Five, up to 10, 8, 7.
Asking myself why, but I go through. Relying on you, why? As the time goes by, sharing our whole lives, your presence change me. What's in my soul? My halo, my halo, my halo, my halo, my halo. It means the mind was life. You gotta know who you are. You gotta know who you are. No mistake, but the person you I love you. Say I love you. Love you. Say I love you. I love you.
We can go all night. We're outside. Somebody calling your phone right now, they texting you. He's like,
Come out.
Don't
I
come
love
up.
y'all alive. All right, where I'm supposed to be.
You left us
We give
better than you
thanks.
found us. You left us better than you found us.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all follow me on Instagram, America's Southern Music. And I love y'all to life and you can't deny about it. I share.
I said.
Thank you very much.
Y'all give it up for America, y'all. Come on, let's go. Y'all give it up for America. Felt like I was at the summer jam.
Facts.
Come on. Vibe, right? Vibe. You know, therapy through music. Raising the vibration, raising the bar, right? That's what you get here at Melanin Mondays. I highly encourage every single person to tell a friend to tell a friend. Next week, I need y'all to come back with other people. You know what I'm talking about?
So we can keep it up.
Spread it like a rumor.
So next week we will be back for another explosive night. It will be just like every other Monday night has been, memorable and legendary. So thank you, everyone. Make sure y'all tap in with the vendors before y'all get up out of there and clean out the food. There's some more food left. Y'all want to go home and eat right. Shout out to Lizzie Jeff in the building. She got one of the hottest albums that I heard this whole damn year. We heard it yesterday. Shout out, when is that coming out? 11/11, right?
11/11.
Album is dropping 11/11. The name of it. Stay tuned. Go and look up Lizzie Jeff on all your streaming platforms. Make sure y'all stream her. She's in now. America, make sure y'all go and follow America Sutton. BluePillar44. Shout out to the band. Where can they find you, King?
Oh man, you can definitely find us on all social media platforms, man. I'm looking at Giano and my partner George Hall, man. My partner Jordan, you can link tonight, man. With the trio, Facebook, on keys. So you can definitely Google us, search engine, whatever you got, I got. So,
Right. Dan, the goddess on the violin, please, because I know the family gonna want to book y'all and bring y'all to bring some of that therapy to them.
Yes, weddings, funerals, parties, any occasion where people are together. Patrons, most definitely. Brunches, lunches, dinners, anniversaries.
And what's your cash app?
My cash app is $Kim Strings. Also, thank you guys very much. Again, my Instagram is Kim Strings Music. I appreciate y'all. Tonight was just awesome. Yes, fire.
Yo, ladies, what would y'all do if I asked y'all to go to brunch and I pulled up with the lady with the strings? I'm talking about fellas, invest in her. You know what I'm talking? What's your cash app again? Money sign Kim Strings. Make it rain on them strings, y'all. Big Pill in the building. How was the night?
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna send him home like Def Jam. You let your light shine?
Yes.
That's right. Keep letting your light shine, baby girl. I love you. All right, thank you, everyone. Love and light. Thank you, Secret. Leave it with a last word. We're gonna tap out.
I just want to thank everybody again for coming out. Y'all stay vibing with us every Monday, like he said. Support the vendors and just keep tapping, y'all. Also, always looking for talent. If you want to hit the stage or you know somebody who wants to hit the stage, please hit me up. African Secret 2 T's. Peace and love, y'all.